You're watching
Galactic
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Indeed, no, indeed. With that being said, everybody, welcome back to another episode of ShadowEye. I believe this is episode 12, so we're hitting the double digits here. And today we are going to be reviewing Superman and Lois, episodes 1 and 2. Basically, it's basically just going to be me, but yeah, it's just gonna basically be me at the moment. I'm gonna be talking about Superman and Lois. What were my expectations going into it? What were just like my thoughts? There's a lot of other stuff uh, with Superman and Lois. Like I'll go into what I liked, what I disliked, things that and then my final grade for the episode. So let's just get right into it here. So with Superman and Lois, especially with the first episode, I was expecting this first episode to be just this entire show in general. I kind of expected the show to not be good, where I didn't think the show was going to be anything spectacular in the sense of, oh my god, like this is the great. No, like I personally thought the show was going to be bad because of the things I was hearing about it. I was hearing things like, "Oh, this show, like Lois is going to be like Superman was going to be." Oh, sorry, I had an energy drink. Uh, so I went into the show going like, "Oh, this show is probably going to be bad." Because with Superman being a stay-at-home dad and such, I was like, oh, are they really gonna go about this like that? I really don't think this is gonna be very good. But after watching what I did, or watching the first episode, I am happy to say that I was wrong. I was pleasantly surprised by how good this first episode was. Now, again, like I'll kind of just give like the brief synopsis on this episode. So basically, what happened is in that first episode, somebody is attacking the nuclear plants, and I'm trying to do this in a non-spoiler-ish way. So there's like a tragedy that also happened in Clark's life, which then goes back to Smallville, where he reunites with Lana Lang, and he also gets fired from his job in the Daily Planet as the reporter, and we then see his relationship with this kids, and typical Superman action at the end with this huge armored guy. So that's pretty much the synopsis for the first episode in like a non-spoilerish way. So to talk about what I liked with this episode, I liked the characters. I think that one of my biggest concerns going into it were the teenage characters, where I feared that when it came to them, I feared they were going to be like annoying and unlikable. But in this first episode, I actually genuinely cared for these characters because of their personalities and of both of their not necessarily in a sense of a this one's kind of I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily say this is like a difficult like way to explain it, but like the characters weren't like annoying and unlikable. Like I actually found these characters to be entertaining and relatable, because you have Jordan, who's pretty much the kid who's kind of like just he's kind of considered weird. and even though he's considered, and he's having like these like night terrors and such, and we don't really know why he has them. I don't even think we really know, even like with the explanation we kind of get, we still don't really know what's going on with Jordan, and yeah, Jonathan, who's the, I guess, the sports kid who does sports. He does football and all of that. So when you look at it as like just um it's like one of those things where it's pretty typical in the sense of like them being a like sportsy kid. But I would say like he is definitely a good, like they're good uh like they're good characters. I'll just say that. They're very, very good characters. And so we get into Lois. I'll talk about Lois here. Another thing that did kind of worry me about Lois's character is I was concerned that Lois was going to be unbearable, like a Iris or a Felicity. And truth be told, I actually think Lois was actually very well done in this. And I know she also, I know like Ninjoid and gives her the criticism of, well, she doesn't really look like Lois, but I do think that for what we do get out of her, I really like what Lois has done with, or what, oh crap, what is the actress's name? Hang on, let me look. I'm sorry. I should have had she was like the girl who played in, I believe it was Grimm, I think. Elizabeth Tulloch. That's her name. So she plays Lois Lane, and I think she does a very good job with what she is given. I think she is a very, because you have to think about it. Lois is a very smart character in the comics, and I think she's definitely used in her like to the best of her abilities in this episode, or like in like just the show so far. Like she's a reporter, so she's asking like all these like really like hard questions, like because she's a reporter at heart, and it's one of those things where I genuinely care. Like I do genuinely care for her character. Like she's likable. Like because again, she's also got to be the mom in the scenario. I think that Lois is a very likable character, and I think Lois is strong, but she's not like annoying like Iris or Felicity, where they're just overbearing. I found Lois to be like just right in a sense, where I think she's smart, but she's not like the main focal point. Like she is a main focal point, but when she is the main focal point, it's interesting, and it's not like, oh, this is just annoying. Um, like the Lana Lang and her husband, I think they're fine. Again, they're just side characters in this. I think she is definitely a very likable character. And as far as like Sam Lane, I think Sam Lane is a good way as to kind of portray him as a, I don't know how to say it, but like in a sense where you have where he's Sam is basically that military dad, and also that's another thing with Lois is that I can buy her being really tough because she is the daughter of a military general, and she's a strong reporter. I think she's basically a tough cookie. I'm just gonna say that she's a tough cookie. She's basically, so again, I can buy her as like a very strong female character, and she is, because Lois is a strong female character in the comics. So I think they portray Lois very well. And with Sam, Sam is basically the guy who's like, you're not going to have a normal life, like because he's Superman. You're never going to have a normal life. And actually, like this is not really a spoiler, but I'll kind of talk about spoilers in a little bit. Superman or Clark has not told his kids about who he really is, and that's Superman yet. So that's going to be a main focal point for this episode. So I think in terms of Lois like with Sam, I like that Sam is basically like, okay, you're never gonna have a normal life because you're not normal. And to a degree, he's right because you can't have a normal life. You have superpowers, you're an alien, like you're not, and you also have a bunch of enemies, and you're not always gonna be around to really have one. Because you see, like in multiple points of the episode, like he does end up missing a therapy session with Jordan because he is Superman, and it's just a very it's kind of like a very not necessarily relatable thing, but in a sense where it's a very, I guess, more so close to home type thing for some people, and I think it is like a good like way to really show like how much of like a double life like Clark has, and how much it does end up being kind of a struggle. And that's one thing I really like in superhero related media, is to show kind of like the double life rather than just showing like one side, because when you're showing just one side, you don't get enough of what you should be getting. Because when they only focus more like on the super, like if they just did like it was just Superman, and we don't really get to see how it affects his life as Clark, it doesn't really make you feel uh like a personal level with these characters, and which I think this show ends up doing very well. And just the way like Sam react is like with Clark, it's more of a in a professional standpoint where it's not necessarily like personal, but it's definitely more so under the lines of it's personal, but it's also a professional relationship where it's basically just a bunch of like just their relationship with the characters. I think to me really stand out, and I guess like, and also the characterization of Clark is very, very well done, because again, they could have done the stereotypical, Clark's an idiot, Clark, is the idiot adult who doesn't really know how to parent, because that's also kind of like something that does annoy me with certain stuff, is like the parents aren't necessarily likable, and like Clark is stupid, like, but he really isn't stupid. Like he's again another just, I like the way they interpret Clark here. Like Clark is not an idiot. Clark actually cares about his kids. Like he cares about his family, but at the same time, like he's also, because you also hear like, this is again not really a spoiler, but he does talk with his mom over the phone, and you could just like he wants to visit, but at the same time, because of everything going on, he just isn't able to. And it's more like down to earth, which is nice, because I think with Clark, I want certain things about him to kind of be down to earth because it's Clark. So I think with Clark's character, I think he is definitely one of the more down to earth characters. And another thing I did like about this episode is the CGI and just the action, because again, another huge complaint that I had with or like a big worry, not necessarily a complaint, but one of my biggest worries going into it, I feel like that because I know the CW is not really a huge CGI thing. Like I'm not expecting like Hollywood quality CGI, but I was more so expecting more like, oh, this is going to be like Supergirl CGI where it's going to be trash. Because I think like the best quality of CGI usually is with the Flash or Stargirl. So I wasn't expecting that kind of CGI, or like just like the action. But I got to be honest, I was genuinely shocked and surprised when we got the quality the way we did, because I think with this show, the action is great. I like just like everything that they did in terms of the action, and just like it looked really good, which I was genuinely surprised by, because again, I didn't expect anything much out of it. But yet surprisingly I did, and it was very, very, very good. Like, is it the best? Is it like the best looking? No, of course not. It's not like there's not a whole lot of money that's really being put into it. I don't know how much money is being put into it, but it's not like that much. But we do get like, it looks like there's I would say a good amount of money into it. I would say like I don't know how much they even here. Let me just look and see how much, like, in terms of production they put into it, because they had to have put in a lot. And so I'm going to see how much I just want to see, like, how much, like, their production value was, because production value. If anybody knows, can you guys maybe give me a like, just a bit of a like, just like more so a round-ish figure that we're looking at, because it looks like there wasn't. It's because it's not saying where it is. Development, no. Casting, yeah. They have it. They don't know, like, but I do know, like, it had to have been, like, at least a good amount, at least. So I would say, in terms of, like, amount wise, I think they put in a good amount. I would say, like, maybe about. I would say maybe a few million at most. I would say. So I would say about, like, a few million, and it looks good. And then I guess, like, my another huge positive for me would be the villain. I think the villain is kind of cool. I think he has a cool look, which I'm gonna spoil this. It's actually Captain Luthor. It's not Lex Luthor. It's Captain Luthor, and I actually like the design. Actually, kind of reminds me of, like, Doomslayer, which I think that's really cool. I think that it has a cool design. I think the actor for it is really good too. I think Will Parks plays Captain Luthor. I think Captain Luthor is absolutely amazing. I think he's really cool. Like, I like that it's not like a typical, oh, I'm gonna destroy Superman because I'm evil. Like, he actually has a really good motive, which actually gets revealed in the second episode. But I really like just the way he looks, and I just like the way in general that he just all that happens. As and then I guess, like, going into, like, my negatives, like, they're mainly nitpick stuff. Like, I think one of my nitpicks was that Jordan was playing Injustice 2, which I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool, but at the same time, I'm like, that's not really needed in the sense of, oh, like, this is like, oh my god, like, no, I just think it was kind of needless. It was just kind of like it was like a stupid little. I don't know how I would put it. It was like a stupid little reference. I would like, it wasn't stupid, but it was just kind of not necessarily. It wasn't. Again, this is kind of hard for me to word, but it's kind of weird because Injustice 2 has, like, characters like Batman and uh like characters that are already in the CW, like Supergirl, Superman, Green Arrow, The Flash. So it's kind of weird for it, and especially if, like, you're looking at the main story where Superman's a bad guy, it is kind of strange. But actually, talking about evil Superman, that is actually referenced in the second episode, which again we'll get into in a little bit. I really did enjoy just the way, like, that was just kind of weird for me. There's really not a whole lot. I guess maybe I would say I could understand, like, Jonathan does kind of get annoying a little bit where but you do, or no, not Jonathan, but Jordan. I think Jordan can get annoying, especially when, like, you're 2 episodes in and you're like this character is just, oh man, that I could understand where people are coming from in terms of that, but overall, though, I don't really mind her character. I don't really mind his character in the sense of, like, I understand he's annoying, but he does kind of get with, like, a again. I don't know, like, it's one of those things where he's definitely not, like, likable, but he is definitely, like, he's relatable in the sense where I do understand, but at the same time it does get annoying. I guess I can talk about spoilers now since not a lot of people are watching at the moment, which is fine. Um, which I think, and also by this point we're like 2 weeks in, so I guess I can talk about spoilers. So the way, like, so spoiler alert, Jordan ends up being one with his powers, because I think that was also kind of something where Clark is like, I don't want to lose my kid, like I don't want to drive another huge wedge, between between my kids and me, because I care about them, like I don't want anything to happen to them. But at the same time, though, because like we don't know, like they're normal, but we don't really know like what's going on, like in terms of like, because their powers haven't really manifested yet, so we don't know. And also, Super Clark's mother dies, his adoptive mother, Martha. And that to me was very sad, in a sense where I think it was just a very like, because you kind of expected it, because you knew like something like that was going to happen. But I did truthfully like what we got in terms of his, like, just like in terms of like an emotional moment. Like I think it was just sad, because it wasn't like Martha died like to a supervillain. Like she just died due to like a stroke, which to me that was sad in a way, because Superman couldn't prevent it. Like it was like a death that was not preventable. So I was like, "Is it all right if I do what you did last night? Just hop on, even though I haven't watched it." Yeah, sure, no problem. I don't mind that. Yeah, you can hop on. Um, but I think it was a very sad, like, just death, because it wasn't like a death where like, oh my god, like Martha just is gonna like face like is like gonna get captured and like Superman could save. Like this is like a death where it could have been preventable, but at the same time it wasn't. And that's what makes it even sadder, is like he just none of it was preventable, and which is sad, but at the same time it actually works, because it's not like, oh my god, it's like not outrageous. um I did like and also like the episode does begin, like I know I'm like talking about it all over the place, but it definitely is a very uh how would I put it, it's a very, very just it's like a very, I did like how at the beginning it's pretty much just a kind of like they show his origin, but it's mainly more like in a flashback sense, where they show his origin, like they show how Krypton explodes, but they don't necessarily go in depth with it. Like it's just more like, all right, we all know who he is, we know who Superman is, we don't need to go into in depth with his origin story. So here you go. Here's his origin story, in a sense. Like Krypton explodes, we then see like him like as Superman for the first time, which is actually a very, like, this was actually a really cool Easter egg. Like not necessarily an Easter egg, but like a cool little reference. Like the very first costume he wore, it was in the cartoon, where he like wore like the very old costume, and I liked how the just the old like the just the old how it looked. Like I'll even show like a picture to also break the monotony of me just talking here. But if you see here, this is the costume he does wear like when he first begins as Superman, and also Jonathan does die as well, like his adoptive father. Like this costume was like real, like I really like this. This was like a really cool reference to like the old Superman like comics and like just the cartoon. Like if you look here, it's like a reference to like this cartoon here that I'm showing right now. I think that's like a really cool design, in the sense of I think it's just a very good looking costume. I mean, it's not like good looking, but it has like that homemade feel, which is like it's actually kind of works because it's homemade. Like it feels something like someone like threw together. It's like homemade, stitched together, but I think it's a very pretty suit. And not like pretty, but like you get what I mean. But the suit he does wear is actually this, which I think this is like in the thumbnail, but this costume is perfect, because that to me is what I think Superman would look like. Like you can maybe make the nitpick that he doesn't wear the underwear over it, but I think it actually looks. I think it still looks very good, even without the red underwear. And also there's like a little bit of a recap of like how he meets Lois and how he meets or like how they fall, like how they get together. It's like, again, I like that because it's not like an origin story. It's like more like, okay, we know who they are, we know they get together, we know they're gonna get married, we know they're gonna have the twins because of Supergirl and Crisis. So they didn't have to go very in depth with that, and I think that was perfect. I did like, and also, so back to the kids. So we don't know how if they have powers or not. So like they're in the barn because they're at Martha's funeral, and so the pipes fall on them, like because they were trying to fix the internet, and the pipes fall on them, and so they don't get hurt because one of them like shielded them with their body, and it just fell on them. They don't feel like they're not hurt or anything. And so they recover pretty quickly, and they do end up finding out who Clark is. And also, while this is going on, it's revealed that Morgan Edge is kind of going to take over, like, not necessarily take over, but like he's like making plans to take over Smallville and doing like some sort of evil thing. And Lois, that's kind of like Lois's subplot in a sense, where she's just trying to find out like what Morgan Edge is really doing and like trying to expose him because it's Lois. I think Lois is because Lois is a journal, like a reporter and a journalist. Like she's going to be somebody who's going to be on the case really quick. So they do end up finding out like where Clark's ship is, and then during the while this is going on, we find out that Martha, like there's like depths, like she's in debt with the farm before she died, and we find out that she actually whispered to come home like with Clark, and they end up coming to the realization that Clark they should come home to Smallville to save the farm. We do get kind of like a conflict between Lana's husband and Lois over Morgan Edge, who because he's like, well, I think that a little bit of money is okay, like is better than no money at all, which is smart. Over like I think like that subplot is really cool as well. I think they're all just relatable in a sense because again, like if somebody has like if like city has like no money or like like Smallville does, I think that would be the answer that someone would have. Like little bit of money is better than no money at all, which makes sense. I did, and then so the kids find out who Clark is and who he really is, and of course, they're like, dude, like what the fuck? Like you lied to us our entire lives because we got to have a melodramatic portion of the episode. So they're basically upset at Clark, and they go to this rave, which also I believe there is a love interest for Jordan in a set. Like we do learn that no, not our yeah, like yeah, Jordan's character, like he's like in love with I think it was like the daughter of Lana Lang, I believe. Hang on, I'm gonna make sure Sarah. Yeah, I think he falls in love with Sarah, and like they kiss her, but he kisses her, but it ends up being like she has a boyfriend, and so the boyfriend basically beats up both of them, and then basically like Jordan uses heat vision. So I mean that was cool. So it's revealed that Jordan actually has the powers, and is Jordan special? Well, I don't know. I mean, it's possible. And Clark fights Captain Luthor, like I talked about earlier. I like Captain Luthor as a villain. I think the design again was cool, and just to reveal who he was like, oh shit, like this is gonna be awesome. And so obviously there's like the ending where like Clark, is like, hey, look, I'm sorry about stuff, but I do think that as an overall episode, I'm gonna give like this first episode a 9 out of 10. I think this was a very, very good way to start off a show. Like this to me was this to me was Superman. Like this was Superman at his best. Like this, I would even say it's better than Man of Steel at times. Like, is it better in terms of like visuals? Maybe not, but I just think as like an overall like Superman story, I've been liking it so far. So I mean so for episode 1, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Letter grade, I give it an A. This was a very, very good. Also, welcome, Sour. My
Thank you.
my apologies. I was kind of talking a little bit.
It's all right.
So I'm gonna go into Superman and Lois episode 2, which I believe was called Heritage. So basically, the main premise of the episode, like I'm not gonna go very too much into it because, like I said, I think. Oh, also like one more positive, I guess I would say for the first episode is the length. Because I think the pilot episode was like an hour long, which I think was perfect for what the episode needed to be because it not only set everything up in like a story sense, but they also like go into the characters and all that. Like they go through the major plot points, which actually really puts it over the top for me. So I'm very, very, I was happy about that. So basically with episode 2, like Clark is basically I'm gonna say non-spoiler for the first like maybe half of it. Like I'll talk about what I liked, what I didn't like. So basically the main premise is Clark is gonna help teach Jordan about like what about his powers and like just learn stuff. And Captain Luthor is trying to search for kryptonite because like by the end of the first episode like he kind of runs out of it and his armor is basically powered by it. And if he doesn't have kryptonite, he can't face Superman. So that'll suck. So he's trying to find kryptonite. Superman's trying to teach Jordan stuff. Jonathan is on the football team, which actually also I forgot to mention this before in the first episode is that he's actually supposed to be leading in the Metropolis football team, but because they moved to Smallville, he's no longer the starting quarterback. He's now like kind of just back to where he started, and he's got to go through the aftermath of what happened with Jordan and like Sarah, and he's getting harassed. And Lois is still trying to figure out what's going on with Morgan Edge, and that also creates a conflict. So I guess with my positives, again, I think the characters are very, very good. I still like Lois here. I think what I liked also about this episode is that what I was worried about, especially with this season, and because it's the CW, is that because I'm gonna give an example. Like with Arrow season 4, like the first episode was good, but then once the season continued, hey, what's up, Bonzo? Great to see you.
Hey, Bonzo.
So what I was fearing about is that basically with Arrow season 4, the first episode was good, but the rest of the season was bad. So this second episode really has to help set the tone for what the show is going to be. And I think as far as a show overall, like I think that this episode was really good. So I have no worries that the rest of it is going to be good. If this second episode was good, I'm going to have no worries. But if this second episode was bad, then it was probably going to set the tone for, because yes, the first episode can be really good. But if the rest of it is bad, it's going to be bad. So as far as a show overall, like I think this was a good like tone setter. And again, like going back to the characters, I think the characters are very likable. Lois is still a strong character, but she's not overbearing. And there is some playful banter between Lois and Clark, which is nice. Like I would expect some banter like that. I think it's like a kind of some nice banter. Hell. What the hell was that? Good Lord. That scared me a little bit. Oh my God. I was like, what the shit?
My fat fingers misclicked. I meant to go to the comments, but I accidentally pressed that. So I was in brand tab.
It's like I was like in the middle of talking about something and then I heard like what the hell? I was like that was crazy. But man,
it blew your head straight off.
Exactly. I was like, oh my God, that was scary. My head is gone. Oh my God.
Head just explodes. Okay, you can continue. Sorry.
So basically, I really just like I think Lois is, and like the playful banter is nice. I think that it to me kind of resembles what their relationship would be by this point. I just like the, I like the, I like the dynamic between like the kids and Clark is that, Jordan is, still like he's trying to figure out like what he is, and like Clark wants to help him because Clark wants to be more involved because now that now that he no longer has a job, and like because he's basically Superman, he's not, how would I put it? He's not necessarily he's definitely somebody who he just wants to be able to be there for his kids. So I definitely would say it was a very solid overall, like just the characters and the dynamics. Like I like the brother like friendship kind of between Jordan and John. Is like, even though they kind of have like their little like spat like in the episode, which I'll get into, and like one of my nitpicks is, I think that was really nice because again, brothers fight for the most part. So as far as them fighting and stuff, like that was actually very well executed. The characters are likable. Now, speaking of so this is kind of like my big nitpick of the episode. I did not. I do feel like this is starting to get a little like Jordan has like his freak out. Like I feel like because even like people who actually watch the show, like they're gonna complain about the just. I would say like they're going to complain about like because Jordan had like he has like his like big like mental breakdown in the first episode, and now like in this episode he has a mental breakdown. So I feel like the running joke with the show is going to be is that Jordan is going to have a mental breakdown every episode. So I mean, hey, if that happens, I'm not going to blame him. So well, I won't blame anybody for joking about it because it's going to become a regular thing. Um, I, so I guess to kind of go into spoilers now, if you haven't watched it, I would suggest maybe not watching or what. But if you don't care about spoilers, here you go. So basically, Super Clark takes Jordan to the fortress, and basically he's trying to teach him the stuff, but it's later revealed that he actually does not have all of Clark's powers. Instead, like it's only limited, and it's just all this stuff. And Lois, is doing her piece on Edge, who's basically she finds to be corrupt, and so and while this is going on, Captain Luthor is trying to find the kryptonite. Like he's going all over the world, and Clark's fighting Captain Luthor, and one of them was like a robot, and I was like, oh shit, that action scene was really cool. And so he beats Luthor, but technically, it was a robot, and Jonathan's also on the football team, and he's like getting like harassed and such, and also Jonathan, or Jordan is upset because again he's just like he's not because again he's not special in a sense where like he's like, oh my god, like he is like the most great, like, all of that stuff. So he's so Jordan so they all go to a barbecue where Lois is like Kyle is like the husband of Lana Lang, and he's like a firefighter, and they argue over Edge, basically, because again, like it brings up before, like Kyle like says like, hey, like a little bit of money is better than no money at all, which I get what he's saying. And General Luthor is basically saying, hey, like he breaks into like this army base where General Lane is at, and so basically he's like warning him like, hey, like Superman's going to destroy the world, and like you got to help me. And so General Lane does have kryptonite actually, because again he was stockpiling kryptonite in case if like let's say a Kryptonian turned evil or and such. And then when Clark tells Captain Luthor that he told the kids that he was Superman, like that it was going to drive a wedge between him and his family, which then starts to come true. But Lois is like, no, 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 that's the right thing or whatever. And so to kind of wrap everything up, so there is a flashback towards the end where because General Luthor is not actually part of this Earth. He is actually on another Earth where Superman was evil, like he was wearing the black suit like he wore in Elseworlds, or like the guy who was portraying the evil Superman in Elseworlds. I think it was like Deegan. So Deegan wore the black. He wore the black suit from Elseworlds, and I think that the look of it was cool. Like he kills General Lane of that universe, and so and also Lois ends up quitting the Daily Planet because Edge actually works there, and he turns the piece into a like I guess like he turns her expose into like a puff piece, and then she ends up then joins the Smallville Gazette, so she's still working with a newspaper. And so Luther is still trying to search for kryptonite by the end of it because he just wants to fight him and all of that. And then like everybody and like Jordan kind of like not necessarily apologized, but he's like, yeah, he's pretty good and such. But again, overall, very, very good episode, man. Like this show so far has been really good in the sense of like both episodes, I think to me were very, very good. I can't wait to watch the I just can't wait to watch more of the show. Like this is a show that I'm actually excited for every week. It's not like a show that's like a chore to watch. Like I genuinely want to keep watching because this show is so good. And so I'm gonna give this episode an 8 out of 10. I think the first episode was better, but I really did think this episode was again another very good episode. So I mean, hey, like a 9 and an 8 out of 10, that's a very good start. I really hope they can continue going down this path. I hope these next couple episodes are really very, very good. Because if not, I'm gonna be very, very upset. Because I have high expectations for it now. And I hope the CW does not, lower the bar, as I would say. Like it to me, like the bar is set so high now that they have to like do something in a sense where they can't like go bad now. Like they have to get better. So to me the bar is now set very high. They have to continue to, I guess, stay on that level or like go even higher. That's my expectation for the show now, because when I first heard about the show, I was like, oh my god, this show's gonna be trash. But once I actually saw it, this show is very, very good. So like I said, the show to me now, they just gotta continue, staying on that same level of quality, and hopefully it'll be good. That was kind of my stuff there. So that was my review of Superman and Lois. So this show we usually go in hours. So Sour, if you're still there, we can just kind of talk and stuff if you want. He's muted. It's all right though. Just gonna Anzo was in the chat. That was cool. Like, shoot. Hang on. Let me see what we got here in terms of just I think the Supergirl release date was March something. It was like the end of March. So I think we're getting like a bit of a I think we're gonna get like a promo thing very soon. Uh hmm. I don't know what else to really say. Oh, I can't wait to see John Diggle's Green Lantern, if that makes any if because again I think Green Lantern's cool, so seeing it be John Diggle, I mean that would be awesome. I don't know. I feel like there's just so much that's I'm excited for that it's gonna be very cool. Um, hmm. What to talk about? What to talk about? So that's a good question. Uh, hmm. That's a good question. Because in the such, You don't wanna. Well, I mean, you don't really wanna do something. Not necessarily like, but you get what I mean. Is that I'm just excited for it. Um, I mean, I would just say like in general, like just I know I apologize if it's a little awkward, but I really don't know what else to talk about. So I don't know if I should end it. I might not end it because we still got a bit of time left. But I think it's just gonna be one of those things where it's gonna be very interesting in the sense of it's going to be a I actually, you know what, I'm actually gonna be honest. I actually think this is probably better than what we got with I mean, this might be controversial, but I actually kind of like this better than WandaVision. That might just be me though. I think that's kind of controversial. It probably is, but I apologize, guys. I apologize. It's just look, man. I'm just very happy. I'm just this show is really good. So so I'm sorry, guys. I promise. So it's a lot of things. But when it's just I don't really know what I would like. I just to me it's there's just something about Superman Lois I just like. I think it's just because maybe I'm just a bigger DC fan, but I really did enjoy what we got with just a lot of things when it came down to so many things. And I mean I'm just genuinely excited about what's going to happen with uh just a lot of things. So I mean, so I don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about anymore. Sour is still muted. Hmm. I would say just other things, but I would say it's also just I don't know. Uh, well, I mean, damn, look at how awkward this is. Because I'm not even doing a lot of things when I don't know anymore, man. I don't know. But overall, I think it's just going to be very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Hey, Emma, what's up? Sour's still kind of well, not necessarily like he's just kind of silent at the moment. Like we have nothing to really talk about because we got a review done in like 40 minutes and we need like 10 minutes to kill pretty much until we end it. I It's just going to be very interesting, I guess. I would say possibly just have like a lot of things and I don't know if I don't know if I would necessarily say it's a oh shit, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. But I would say in a sense, just to have like just Superman Lois is so good, it's really good. But again, I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. A lot of crazy stuff's gonna happen. I would think anyway. I think a lot of crazy stuff would happen. Um, shit, no sour still. Pretty interesting. Um, shit, I might. Do I want? No, I don't want to end 10 minutes early. I mean, we still got like 10 minutes. I mean, but also chat's not very active, so I mean, maybe not. Maybe not. At the same time, I don't know. A good question, but yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, it's I mean, I guess I could ramble on, but you know what? I'm actually gonna wrap it up because again, I really don't know what else to really talk about here. Also, Sour is kind of dead at the moment, so just find me on other people's channels. You can find me on basically everybody's channels by this point. I have their stuff in the description. Uh, I might do a game stream later on tonight, but it just depends on what kind of time I have. Uh, yeah, I mean that's about it. In whole honesty, I don't really know what else to really say. So, yeah, well actually, do I want to? But we got 8 minutes left. So, Sour, are you still there? Okay, I guess Sour isn't here. I have some that might coax him out. You know what? Let's talk anime. Anime is so good. Have you seen that one anime where like that anime, like that guy showed up and just like like he's like like the huge spirit ball like that. That was a cool anime, man. Like the anime were like they were fighting and stuff, and like just the anime was so good. And I'm giving that anime a 10 out of 10. The anime was so good. Anime was beautiful, man. Anime is perfect. Anime is so good. And did you watch his new YouTube video? Uh, who? Someone did a new YouTube video? Who? Who did this new YouTube video? Now I want to know who did it. Who did who? Come on, like who did this? Whose YouTube video is it, man? I mean, I'm curious now. Very very curious. It's gonna be interesting. It's interesting. It's now a mystery. Oh yeah. I watched his. I watched his new YouTube video. I think I was on it because it was Attack on Titan, and we just I think they were reviewing Attack on Titan, which I think that was a cool review. My review was bad though, so because I literally just reviewed one because I basically reviewed it, and I literally been basically nothing came out of it. So it's just it's fine. It's kind of just whatever I guess at the moment. But at the same time, I don't know. It's interesting. So uh, there's a lot of things. I mean, remember like the stream where we ranked all the SpongeBob movies? That was pretty fun. I would say. Um, I don't know where else I would go with this. Oh God. Yeah, I might. You know what? I might rewatch the SpongeBob stream. I might rewatch the SpongeBob stream just how good it was. Uh, because it was very fun. Also, just FYI though, guys, I believe if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Sauerkraus is one subscriber away from hitting 50. So whoever has not subscribed yet, please subscribe to Sour Kraus. Because we want to get him up to 50, guys. Like, we need to get him up to over 100. Because me and Ninjoid are over 100. Or at least get him somewhere closer to it. You know, let's just try and get Sour Kraus. Let's get Sour up there, alright? We need one more sub. One more sub. One more sub. One more sub. You know, I'm gonna put his link in the chat. So if you wanna because we need to get him up to 50. So Sour's channel, go and subscribe. Just do it, guys. Do it. Just subscribe. Please do it. Sour needs this, okay? He needs one more sub. He needs one more subscriber to get up to 50. So please go ahead and do it. He needs Emma, subscribe to Sour. He needs that one more sub, man. He needs one more sub. Please do it for him. Do it. He's gonna get. He needs to be up there. He's got to do it. One more sub, and he's at 50. And if he gets to 50 subscribers, we will all be very happy because Sour's the only person out of the three of us who has not hit 100 yet. We're trying to get him up to 50. He's halfway there, pretty much. We just need one more sub, one more subscriber, and he will be up to 50. Let's get him up to 50 by at least. I want to get him up to 50 today because he is just one away. If he's one away, then you know we're all gonna cheer and we're all gonna be like, yes, Sour is officially at 50 because Sour we gotta do it. We gotta do it. Subscribe to Sour Kraus. I have his link in the channel. I have his link in the description. If you go into my channel, he's in the featured channels list. There is no excuse for anybody to not subscribe to Sour Kraus. Sour Kraus has a lot of great content, so do it. Subscribe to the channel. Just subscribe to all of it. Do it, man. Just subscribe because just subscribe. It's all that stuff. So subscribe, leave him a comment, hit the like button on his stuff, like subscribe to Sour Kraus. We're trying to grow a little bit. So if you can help us, you help him, man. Like he definitely has earned it. So please go ahead and do that because he's earned it, everybody. He has definitely earned it. So do it, man. Subscribe. Sour, tell them to subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel where I do a bunch of really great streams over there on my YouTube channel where I don't really stream a lot, but I just did a Attack on Titan review stream yesterday. So if you want to go and check out my YouTube channel, then check me out at Sour Kraus ! Also, I have a Twitter at SourAssMan. So please go and subscribe and follow me on Twitter at SourAssMan. And also, I do a bunch of game stuff. So whenever I do that, so please just check me out at SourAssMan and Sour Kraus ! Very nice, Sour. Very, very nice, man. I definitely appreciate it. I mean, you gotta do all that stuff. So we're about 20 seconds away. So basically, I plugged just go and subscribe to him. We need to get one more sub for Sour Kraus. So go and subscribe. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Go check us out. And this is the Osnator signing out. See you later, guys.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!